Sweet, man. How's it going? How's everything out in
Oh,
California? How you
oh man, it's going, it's we're rocking and rolling right along.
Yeah, I can't
You
imagine.
know.
Well, let's uh let's talk about this new album. So the Lone Hawk Hats family presents Me and My Guitar. It's an acoustic album benefiting hashtag Save Our Stages. Coming out on February 5th. Bandcamp Fridays. More info at Lone Hawk at Lone Hawk. I was gonna say Lone Hawk. I'm from Brooklyn now. All of a sudden. Lone Hawk Hat on Instagram and all the socials. Welcome to the show, Charlie. What's up, man?
Hey buddy. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
First of all, I'm repping my Lone Hawk today. Look at that lid.
I
Mm-mm-mm.
love it. I love it. Looks
First,
great.
first thing I want to ask you. So, you and I have never actually talked about this, but how did you get into the hat making biz? And how did you like? Where did you get the idea to start making hats?
You know, honestly, back in the days of the Sunset Strip rock and roll era, I was I was around like in the Sunset Strip times of the 80s and the early 90s. And and when the glam thing was happening and this and rock and roll was at its peak, um I was in a band called Big Bang Babies that you may or may not have heard of.
Never heard
And
of them. That's a good name,
we
though.
were we were managed by Bill Aucoin that
Oh,
was behind Kiss.
right.
And Big Bang, you should look into it because there's some rock and roll history there for sure. Um, Kerry Kelly was my guitar player. He went
Plays a
on to
Night
play
Ranger.
with, yeah, he's a Night Ranger now, but he was in Cooper for 7 or 8 years. And, he's played with Slash and Vince Neil. And he ran the whole gamut of that whole cool rock and roll thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like in 90, 91, 92, I think we got together maybe in 89. So it was like from 89 to like 90. I think we split up in 93 is when I decided Nirvana is crushing the whole thing. And
Yeah.
so,
So
but
wait,
yeah,
you were
Big
in
Bang
like.
Babies,
So wait, what kind of band was it? Like, was it like a melodic hard
full,
rock band, like a Poison?
full, full on. Yeah. It
Wow.
was, yeah, yo, you're going to love it, dude. You're going to freak out.
It's so weird that I
Um,
can't picture you in a band like that.
you haven't seen the photos, dude. You're going to snap. Uh, so yeah, I was the front man. I just sang. And, my name was Kit Ashley. Of course, I had the different name. And, but yeah, we kind of ruled the strip for some years. It was a crazy time. So
So
anyway,
how
and
did you
now,
guys how did you guys get to be managed by Bill O'Coin then? Like he discovered you guys on the strip or
yeah, yeah, no, well, I mean, back then there was no internet yet. There was no cell phones. None of us had any of this magic that we have today.
yeah.
So um, I think we were working with Kim Fowley. We were writing some songs with Kim Fowley, and I'm not really sure how a coin came into the picture, but we ended up being managed by Bill and Kenny Kerner.
Mm.
So Kenny was running. He had a small management company, and he was running. He was the editor at Music Connection at the time.
Okay.
So Kenny, I think it was Kenny that brought in Bill. Bill had just, I think it was just after he was managing Billy Idol.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, it's a long time ago, so it's hard to keep it all together.
Yeah, but
But
the man's a legend. So it's like when you're having a meeting with Bill O'Coin, does he say to you, "All right, guys, because look what he did with Kiss and all those bands."
oh,
Like,
I know, he was the man.
did he say to you guys like, "All right, we're gonna put you guys in platforms and get the makeup on you," or like,
We were well. Big Bang was. We were all. That was part of the draw for Bill, is that we were the blonde Kiss. The whole band was blonde. Kerry Kelly has had the half black, half white hair at the time, but the rest of us were all bleach blonde. So
you guys
you
were like
got
the
to check
hottest
it.
chicks on the strip?
You got to check it out, dude. You're gonna freak out.
Okay, I
So
I really do.
yeah, you're really gonna trip out. So we were the first band actually to press CDs, like compact discs. I remember at the time when compact discs came out, we were the first ones to like press them in that Sunset Strip scene. Like it was like Big Bang Babies made a CD. You know, it's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah. So I mean, it seems like so long ago, which it was. I mean, we're talking about 30
Yeah, 30 some
plus
years ago.
30 plus years ago. So, which is completely insane to think about, you know.
Hmm.
But to answer your question, in that era of rock, um, I was super into Hanoi Rocks and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. I was into a mix of like Hanoi and Joe Jackson and Elvis Costello. So I loved like that power pop, but I was into like the glam, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's where the chicks were, you
Yeah, of
know.
course.
So so we I was wanting those crazy outrageous hats and nobody made those things. So
Hmm.
I started doing them myself, and putting together these like outrageous awesome hats. And that was in 91. So I did that for a while and then I didn't do anything with hats for years and years and years until about 5, 6 years ago or something, 7 years ago. I don't even know how long it's been now. But I started doing some hats again, and then Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke um, sent a message through Instagram and was like, "Hey, man, I saw one of your hats on your girlfriend's store site, and would you build me some hats?" And
Boom.
that was it. That was it. It started the whole thing. And then, of course, as you know, there's, you know, a landslide of guys and gals making hats like Lone Hawks now all over the country, all over the
Yeah.
world, really.
All over the
So,
place. Well, yeah, because
yeah,
even to look back and like that's how kind of I discovered you, and we'll talk about Adam from the Struts in a sec, who's on this project. But it's like I became a fan of the Struts, and I loved Adam's look and the hat he was wearing, and I was like, damn, like who made this hat? And I just so happened to like tab one of the pictures, and it was tagged Lone Hawk, and I'm like, this is
right.
the guy. So I went, and then I got myself a hat. So it really kind of is a word of mouth kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, the Lone Hawk family, and I love it this way too, is it is basically all word of mouth. And as you know, I've worked with a lot of cool music cats
Yeah.
and you know, I don't have the 150,000 fake followers like a lot of the Insta people do.
Like a
I
lot of
just
influencers.
Yeah, yeah. I just have my, whatever it is, 26,000 enthusiasts and all of my solid, cool family, which, as you know, come together and everyone's always like up to help out for good causes. And we did that, the thing for Navajo Nation
Yeah.
with, Cheryl Crow, which you got involved in too.
Yeah, of course, dude. I
Um,
bought the David Lee
yeah,
Roth hat, which it's
yeah.
upstairs. I should go get it. Hold on, I'm gonna go grab that hat so I can show it off. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
Sweet.
Right on.
So there it is. There's my David Lee Roth Lone Hawk. Look at that.
Dig it. Yeah. Radical.
So talk to me about this.
Yeah.
So you made this hat for Dave?
Made the hat for Dave. And so yeah, I mean what we did was I reached out to there's so many cool folks in the Lone Hawk family, as you know. So I reached out to a handful of people: Cheryl Crow, Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes, David Lee Roth, Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees. Um, Man, there was so many people, amazing people involved, and everyone, every person that I called was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I'm down to help the Navajo Nation." So
Yeah.
everyone signed one of their hats, sent them over here, and then we had an auction and did it all on Instagram and through like this, exactly the way we're doing this right now. and we raised over $100,000 for Navajo Nation, which was incredible.
That's amazing because,
Yeah.
man, dude, all native reservations across North America are just struggling. It's like to get anything from the governments or even like public support. Dude, in Canada, native reservations were really looked at, the dregs of society, leeches of the government and their taxpayers. Anytime there's some type of native issue, oh, well, leave it up to the nations. They want to be independent. Let them fund their own stuff. And it's a constant political battle and struggle.
Oh, I know. The politics are,
it's ridiculous.
Politics as a whole are
yeah.
pretty ridiculous.
So the fact that, as you guys were able to raise, $100,000 with, all these really cool artists and part of the Lone Hawk family, it's like,
Yeah, so really amazing.
Let me ask you this. How does an artist, approach you and say, like, how does David Lee Roth come to you and say, hey, Charlie, I want a hat made for me?
Most of the time, it comes through someone else, a friend of a friend, or they'll just send me an Instagram message, which is always mind-boggling and amazing to the one day out of, check your messages and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon and you look and you're like, holy shit, Nils Lofgren from the Springsteen band and wants a hat, it's incredible. But they, most of the time they come through someone else. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So it is a small knit family and I like it, like that. We try to keep it somewhat small and, just one man with two hands. So it takes me a long time to make each hat. And
one is like custom bespoke, made to order, right? So
yeah. And I could do like 6 a week or something. So, the wait is a while. It takes a while to get them, but most people say that it's worth it, Yeah. And then my lady Vanessa does the hand embroidery stuff.
Right.
And we're totally backed up on those, which is, a whole nother beast.
But hey, you know what? It's good that business is good.
Oh, in this day and age, my friend, it's a real blessing.
Yeah. Just before we get on to talk about the CD here, talking about these hats and stuff, how do you decide what you're going to put on them? How you're going to burn the edges? Talk about the artistic kind of direction that you go in with these hats, because they really are one of a kind. And I almost feel like, they're a representation of like the personality of the person that's wearing them as well. But it also has Charlie into it,
Right. I mean, to tell you the honest truth, Jeremy, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't use blocks. I don't use tools. I don't use anything that a regular hat maker would use, I don't think, to make hats, because I'm not I'm just a guy that's sculpting beaver,
Right.
And so when I'm putting them together, I do take into account who they're going to and try to put that, spin on it for that person. Unless a lot of them are totally custom and people will go, I want this, and can you do this? And maybe can you find this to make the band out of or whatever? But a lot of times I just go with the divine architecture, which is a little weird, but I feel like, not to get all hippie, strange, trippy guy, but I feel like, because I use all old vintage shells, from the 70s back. So all the hats already have a life of their own from days of past.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of them already have their destiny and divine architecture happening with them, which I know sounds crazy, but
it's a greater power at work.
Every hat has their story already and has already had lifetimes of wear in them, and is going on to the next life. Hats are, I don't know if they get the 9 lives like a cat, but they're definitely doing some living.
Well,
especially these,
dude, once the hats get on the road and they start getting stories of their own.
Oh yeah, of course. So, and I build them for the road specifically. I mean, they're built really tough and strong, and they're not for the weak at
Yeah.
all.
Also, Sculpting Beaver is also my stripper name, just for the record.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So,
Sculpting Beaver.
Me and My Guitar, it's an acoustic album benefiting Save Our Stages. Talk about the Save Our Stages movement. And, tons of clubs and tons of venues across the country and America are just probably not going to be able to open back up after this pandemic because it's not looking good. And on top of that, all these upcoming bands, okay, the arena guys, they're going to have arenas to go back to eventually.
Yep.
Stadium guys
Yep.
will have places to go. But when you
Right.
look at, the tier 1 and tier 2 artists that are playing in the clubs, trying to get up and move up to the amphitheaters and the arenas, there's not really going to be anywhere for these bands to get their start and get playing.
Man, it's really hard and it's really scary because all of us cut our teeth playing these small venues. You know what I mean? I was talking to Jesse Mallon last night about it on the 420 shout out on the Lone Hawk Instagram. And I was saying, like, clubs like the Troubadour, they're going to be okay because Elton John is not going to let the Troubadour go down because he started there. But smaller venues like the Bovine Sex Club
Yeah,
that you
Toronto.
guys have out there,
Yeah.
and the smaller venues that how are those kind of venues without some assistance are not going to survive. There's no way that it's going to happen. The small mom and pop places, and so the National Independent Venue Association that we're doing this album for, those guys are really working their butts off to get some funding out of Congress, and it's
And it seems
working.
like
It
it's
is
like
working.
pulling teeth to get anything out of your government over there. It's
I know.
crazy.
It is crazy, but we're making some changes. We've made some positive changes over the recent
Yeah.
days,
You got a new
and
president, so that's kind of good.
yeah, we're moving in a positive direction. We'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, the venues are the first to close and are going to be the last to open. And without these small venues, I mean, I if there wasn't small clubs, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I don't know what I'd be doing, but I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Yeah.
And all the artists that are on this 25 artist record all came up playing the small venues, and we all love to go back and play those small venues. You know what I mean? It's still
everybody
the
talks about
intimacy.
That's it. Everybody talks about the small club. It's great seeing Kiss in an arena, but you watch that Kiss Unplugged, and man, you're like, oh, I'm thirsty to see them in a small little bar or club.
I mean, growing up in LA and being in that scene, like I was talking about with Big Bang Babies, in that era, I saw at the Troubadour alone, I saw Kiss. I saw, Foo Fighters, but that was a little later.
Yeah.
I actually went to see Foos with Pat when Pat was not in the band anymore, in that in between time, yeah. But I mean, I played the Troubadour when I was 15 years old with Poison. I was a kid. Yeah. So, I mean, those venues, without those venues, there was lots of clubs that are already falling to the wayside, but where there's not going to be a place for the baby bands, as they put it, and even the middle class of rock and roll. Like you said, there's going to be big arenas and stuff because the corporate, that's never going down. The corporate will hang on and the corporate will be fine.
Yeah.
But the small mom and pop venues without assistance are not going to be able to hang on. And it's really scary. I mean, I feel lucky to have been part of all of that before all this happened, but I feel terrible for the kids that still want to get out and play some Van Halen songs, and play some original music and write songs and build careers, because it's terrifying.
But I even feel like, the Sunset Strip has kind of lost a little bit of that already because,
Oh, it's over. It's dead. It's
yeah,
gone.
dude. I mean,
Yeah.
I was there, a couple of years ago. I went to Steel Panther's last show at the House of Blues before they tore it down for a condo building. And it's like, like what are the
Yeah.
clubs that are left over there?
Well,
You got the Viper
yeah. I
Room.
mean,
Is that still a thing?
the Viper is still there. The Viper's hanging on. The Viper is going to become a big high rise, and yeah, but they are talking about having the Viper Room within the high rise, which
It'll be like the corporate
not
club.
really that cool.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
gonna
I
open
mean,
up a bar on the top of the building and call it the Viper Room or something.
right. I mean,
Oh,
that venue in itself goes way back. It was Filthy McNasty's. That was pre my time. It was called Filthy McNasty's, and then it became that venue. Actually, was the very first place that Big Bang Babies band ever played.
at the Viper Room.
Yeah, it was an
Wow.
unannounced show. It was called. I want to say it was called the Central. Geez, I can't remember. I can't even remember. But yeah, it was so many different names. The Viper Room.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, the whiskey's still there, of course, the
Yeah.
whiskey and the Roxy, but they're not really in danger of going down either.
No, because let's be honest, they're kind of corporate now, aren't they? In a way.
Well, no, but they've got a lot of money behind them.
Right.
They've got family. There's family. There's family in the picture for sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
so
talking about the CD and some of the artists that you got contributing on this, and guesting, you've got people like Captain Clegg, Jesse Dayton's on this.
Jesse Dayton is on this.
Cool. I called him Captain
he,
Clegg because he's in the Rob Zombie movies. He's Captain Clegg in the Night Creatures. And that was one of the first concerts I saw. I saw him open up for Rob Zombie in like 2008, 2009. And that's still one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah. It's amazing that you've mentioned him first because such a crazy time, man. Jesse is supposed to be one of my guests today on the 420 shout out on the Lone Hawk Hats Instagram. Dwayne Betts and Jesse Dayton. And Jesse, unfortunately, is not going to come on because his father-in-law passed away last night to COVID-19.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So it's really affecting and still affecting and going to be affecting all of us for a long time. It's devastating. It's really devastating.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
you're personally affected by it.
You're right. Yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, whatever," but then it hits them, and they're like,
"Yeah,
oh,
fuck you! I'm not wearing a mask." And then their
Right.
grandmother dies from COVID because they didn't wear a mask, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah,
Yeah, you got Jesse
Dayton. Gotta stay positive. Jesse Dayton,
Adam Slack from the Struts, which is another guy I'm a big fan of.
Yep, Adam from the Struts. His song is incredible. What's amazing is that all the songs on the record, obviously it's called Me and My Guitar. Yeah. So all the songs on the record are the person with the song, their guitar, and that's it. So it's really, really personal, and all the songs are very personal, and it's deep. It's an incredible, beautiful record from start to end. And after the 25 songs, you're ready for 26. So you can start it over, or you can go about your day. But it's an incredible record, and it's going to be an amazing drive record. But I mean, there's Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke, Jim James from My Morning Jacket, Miranda Lee Richards, Suzanne Santo, Jimmy Vivino, Adam Slack, as you mentioned. Yeah. There's the Mastersons that play in Steve Earle and the Dukes. Both did individual songs. Chris and Eleanor, Sam Morrow, Pete Anderson, who played with oh God, Who's our
There's
Bakersfield?
too many names. Too many.
There's so many. There's so many.
Marcus
Jesse
King's on this
Mallon,
too, which is he's a monster guitar player.
Marcus King, he's a beast, yeah. And you know, the Particle Kid is on it. I mean, it's really, really, really great. And I can't say enough about it. And you know, it comes out tomorrow on Bandcamp, and all the money is going to NEVA for Save Our Stages, which is really, you know, it's been a lot of work, bro. I got to tell you the truth.
Well, I mean,
I thought at the beginning
you're producing an album, but you're also producing, you know, every single one of these tracks and trying to get the people on the board and recording the sessions and everything, and you know, trying to get the infrastructure set up, and it's a big undertaking. So
I mean, it seemed really easy at the beginning. I was like, I even told people, I was like, look, you can record it right on your phone. You know, it'll be simple.
Yeah,
not so simple.
No,
Not so
artists.
easy.
The artists are like, no. I'm gonna, you know, I got my recording set up at home. I'm not doing anything else. I'll make it sound decent.
Right. Yeah, and then let alone getting all of the releases signed and back is a whole nother fiasco that I didn't even think about. You know,
did any of the agents like push back and say, okay, well, you know, how am I going to get my cut out of this? You know, how's my artist getting paid? Any issues there?
No, not as far as that. I mean, there's been a couple of the major label folks and stuff. Of course, there's like 3 or 4 people you have to go through, and they always have questions and little changes. But everyone, for the most part, has been completely down for the old cause. And
nice,
you know, oh, it's for NEVA. Okay, great. So yeah, for the most part, it's been pretty simple that way. It's just getting people to do it and send it back. You know, it's not the actual doing of it. It's the doing and sending it back, you know.
Right.
So whatever. I mean, that's the small potatoes of the whole thing. That the work that goes into it is definitely worth what's happening.
Look at you. You're like the Clive Davis of Save Our Stages. It's great.
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, I'm just doing what I can. I mean, I feel like if you've got a platform and you have some connections to people that can help, why not? You know, I mean, I think that I think it's our duty to make stuff happen if we can, and you know, stand up and make a difference. You know. So
I hear you, man. Dude, look at you. You're a saint.
I certainly would not say that either. But you know, I jokingly say to some of my friends, they're like, man, you're doing all this great stuff, man. You're raising money for the Navajo Nation and doing the Save Our Stages things. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm really just rebuilding my karma.
There you go. Paying it back.
Gotta pay back. So,
I love it. Well,
yeah.
This is one of my most prized possessions, and I'm glad, you know, I was able to donate to the Navajo Nation. And you know, this is great. I have it sitting upstairs on a nice little ledge, and I look at it, walk by it every day, and you know.
I'm glad you got it, dude. I'm glad you got that one. I love that David Lee Roth lid. It's so good.
It's great, man. Awesome. Well, this is really cool, man. Me and My Guitar, it's an all acoustic album benefiting Save Our Stages. All the money's being donated to NEVA, the National Independent Venues Association. It comes out tomorrow, February 5th. Or if you're watching this now, you know, later in the future, buy it and support it. You know, take a pause for the cause, people, and all the money's going to the stages. So
yeah. Amen.
All right, man. Well,
thank you.
Catch up. This is great.
Yeah, thank you for having me, my man.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to get another hat from you soon. This is
I can dig it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna go for a more circular one next time.
All right.
I gotta see.
Start thinking about it now, because it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody. Hey, everybody that's in the line, no, put me at the top, man. This is enough of this.
Okay, yeah. We have the Rush plan.
Yeah.
The Rush, it's crazy because the Rush plan used to be for touring artists and weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff.
But now none of that's
bitter. Now none of that's really going on. So, you know, everyone's kind of like, yeah, I don't really need the rush. I'm cool. I can wait. So
Yeah.
it's been good. But
To be fair, there's
anyway,
nowhere really to wear it to, so you know.
well, yeah, but you got to be ready for the big day when all this shit starts happening, dude.
That's
We
it.
all get to go out and sweat and play some rock and roll and hug on each other again. It's
Can't
going to
wait.
be amazing. It's going to be
Can't wait.
great.
Well, hey, you know,
Yeah.
artists are already starting to announce tours for the fall time, and you know, big major tours getting announced for the first quarter of 2022. So, I mean,
Right.
if the vaccine starts making a dent, you know, maybe we'll be back in the venues in the fall time. You can only
It's
hope.
going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. Yes.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
man. It was great to catch up and hit up Charlie Lone Hawk Hats on Instagram and all the socials and everything. It's a great community to be a part of. So go and check that out. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
man.
brother.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take it easy.